Welcome back to the channel, guys. On today's video, we're going to be taking a look at an upper that I was sent by Bear Creek Arsenal. 16-inch upper, chambered in 223 Wylde. It's just the upper only. It's a complete upper. I think right now going for $199 on their website. Completely American made. As far as I know, everything they make is made in-house in North Carolina. They avoided the flood. It's kind of raining today. Hopefully we can get this video in. Don't have to do two different shoots, but without further ado, let's take a close-up look at that upper. All right, so here's our upper. 16-inch upper from Bear Creek Arsenal. I have the Sig Sauer Romeo 5X dot and magnifier on it. It's what we're going to use for our sighting in and our sight system. It does flip out of the way. That'll be a separate video. But it is a complete upper, complete with the bolt carrier group, charge handle, all that fun stuff, dust cover, brass deflector. We have a 16-inch barrel M4 profile. It's hard to see in there. It is a carbine gas system. Proprietary handguards, a 15-inch MLOK handguard with some Picatinny rail at the front, and of course Picatinny rail towards the end of the handguard. Of course, our upper receiver has pick on it as well. Our logo. A in-house proprietary muzzle device as well from Bear Creek. It is chambered, see if I can get that in there, 223 Wylde with a 1 1/8 twist. And made in the USA. It's always good. Parkerized finish, from what I understand, or phosphate finish. I don't know. Not really good at the whole finishes thing. Let's take a closer look at the bolt. M16 profile bolt. Staked gas key. I have shot this already, so spoiler alert. Everything looks good. Everything looks fine. Machining looks good. It's everything you're used to. Firing pin, cam, everything. All looks good. Typical, just kind of GI charging handle. Nothing special there. Going to be shooting it through a lower. It's a Rise Armament lower. The Rise Armament trigger. It's a 3.5 pound trigger. Really nice cassette drop-in trigger. Rise makes some really good stuff too. Comes with the pins, all that. But yeah, get it put back together, get it put on our lower, and let's go from there. Before we get shooting, we're going to try to give you a close-up of the inside of everything here. Do the best I can. Everything looks normal in there. Looks like it should look. Do have M4 feed ramps on our barrel, so hopefully that's showing up on the camera pretty well. But let's shoot. We got a target set up. I'm going to go back to 40 yards, start shooting there, see how, one, we're going to see how good the optic is out of the box, and two, that's where kind of want to start your sighting in anyway. So let's go shooting. All right, so actually we're set up at 36 yards to try to sight this thing in, or get it sighted in there. Call that the Sean Ryan range. But that's a different video, or you can look it up on your own. Sean Ryan show on YouTube, one of his earlier videos of him showing his 36 yard zero. Very good. Let's shoot. Clear. It's 3 yards. See the results. I don't really want this to turn into a sighting video, but out of the box, pretty good. But that's also a really good group. So we're at 36 yards and we've got a, I don't know, 1.5 inch group, shooting just 223 55 grain Freedom munitions, so nothing special. Let's make the adjustments, let's get on the dot, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I made my adjustments. I've got the optic now on at 50 yards. Have another good group, only fired 3 shots, 1, 2, 3. Again, this is with our Freedom Munitions 223 Remington 55 grain ammunition. Not the greatest ammunition, obviously not terrible. Maybe it's the upper. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put up a different target. We're gonna try something a little bit different. So let's get this target swapped out and we'll try something else. All right, so I've got a new target set up. This time, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try out some different ammunition, grains, styles, what have you. So obviously you can't necessarily tell on the camera, but our light's been changing quite a bit, which means we have a front that's coming in tonight, going to bring a lot of rain. So when we started out, we were probably at about 68 degrees. I don't know what the humidity was, but it was misting. So these are actually some pretty non-ideal conditions to not only test this upper, but test this ammunition and see what kind of results we're going to get. So this, I've got the 4 sections here. So the first one, we're going to shoot 3 rounds of the 223 55 grain Freedom Munitions ammunition that I've been using this whole time. So we'll see kind of how this changes, or maybe it won't change at all. Then I'm going to move to a 55 grain 5.56 millimeter by 45 AAC ammunition from Palmetto State Armory. Down on the bottom, we're going to move up into our weights. Both of these will be 5.56, but we're going to move to 62 grains in our bottom left, 77 grains in our bottom right. All these will be shot at 50 yards. So enough of me talking. Let's do some shooting, see what kind of results we get. Here are our results, and they're really good results. The 55 grain Freedom Munitions 223 Remington ammunition, that is 1, 2, 3 impacts. That's really good results. It's also what I use to sight in the optic. We move over to our AAC ammunition, which is 5.56, still 55 grain. We still get a really good group here. Not bad at all. We're shifting kind of to the left. That's not a big deal. Basically, whatever ammunition you use to sight in a rifle or pistol, that's going to be the best ammunition to run through it. We can adjust for this. That's not a big deal. Moving down to our heavier ammunition, the 62 grain AAC 5.56 round. We get another good group, 1, 2, 3. That is me. Felt that one when I pulled the trigger. That is kind of annoying, but a really good group. Our 77 grain, we get another good group, and our point of aim, point of impact does not appear to be shifting too much, but our accuracy is really good. So being that this is a budget upper, and being that you're gonna get a lot of scrutiny, this, that, or the other, I'm gonna paste up these holes. We're gonna go back to 50 yards, and we're gonna rerun this test, see if we can't duplicate our results, perhaps improve, maybe they get worse, who knows. Let's go back to 50 yards, find out. Well, these are the results from our second 50-yard test. Look pretty good. Again, our Freedom Munition 55 grain 223 Remington, very good group, all within the square. 1, 2, 3. AAC 5.56 ammo, we have 1, 2, 3. That was mine, felt that. Our 62 grain AAC ammunition, that is 3 impacts. Basically the size of the tip of my pinky. Pretty good. 77 grain, 1, 2, 3, top one. That's me, felt that one as well. Pretty good. So in conclusion, what did we learn today? Well, I'd say that the BCA 16-inch upper is pretty accurate. Our 50-yard results not only confirmed it, but showed a pretty good improvement from one group to the next. Also, the 1-in-8 barrel twist is another thing that doesn't get talked about enough. The 223 Wylde tends to be a 1/8 barrel twist. Most of your 5.56 or your 223 dedicated barrels tend to be a 1/7 twist rate, which basically means that if you look up all the statistics, the ballistics, the nerdery, all the stuff on paper, means that if you have a 223 barrel chambered in 1/7 twist, well, that's going to do really well to stabilize a 223 bullet. Same with a 5.56 round, 5.56 barrel. If you have a 5.56 chambered in 1/7 twist, it will do its best stabilization on a 5.56 round, which is nice, that's fine, but your ammo choices get quite limited at that point. The 223 Wylde and a 1-in-8 is supposed to be kind of the best of both worlds. Did our results confirm that? I kind of think that they did. Longevity is something that you can't necessarily test in one video, and I know that'll be the biggest thing when it comes to the BCA upper is, how long will it last? Will this, that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get that. And there's some parts on here that are kind of, I don't know, make me pause a little bit. The sling swivel studs that are integrated into the handguard, now they have the dimples in there for the ball bearings for your sling swivels. That's extruded aluminum. How long is that going to hold up? I don't know. Aluminum mixed with steel is not necessarily a recipe for longevity, but you have the MLOK slots on here as well, and that's really where you should be mounting your sling swivels and things of that nature. You know, don't ask aluminum to do a job of steel and vice versa. That's why you don't make barrels out of aluminum. Some other points. One is future video, teaser alert, but the SIG optic mixed with the magnifier was really good thus far. So that'll be really cool to do, but that's not why we're here. So looking at our BCA upper, I don't see anything that's really odd wear. I don't see anything that is giving me concern for longevity. It's not beating up the buffer tube or spring or the buffer itself. It's not beating up the trigger. You know, when you go to these cassette triggers, kind of match triggers, you're basically giving up durability. So at some point this would fail before a GI trigger would fail, but a GI trigger is not as good as this, so it's not beating that up. Everything is still solid. The gas block, of course it gets hot, but there's enough real estate in here that it was not noticeable. I'm sure if I try to burn down test like some of the others do, which I'm not going to do, I'm not going to do a torture test. Because one, how do you repeat a torture test? The other problem with the torture test is there's a ton of footage that just gets dumped that no one ever saw, and the only footage that they're going to show is when it fails, if it does fail. Well, everything has a failure point. The biggest part of what BCA does, what Palmetto State does, Bear Creek, Palmetto, yeah, I know I'm an affiliate for them. They sent this to me free of charge, but that's not gonna, if this thing were to fail or have issues, you'd know about them. But the biggest thing that they do is they take really good hardware, make it in this country first and foremost, but they give it to you direct, and they give it to you at a bargain price. It's inexpensive. It's not cheap. There's a difference between cheap and inexpensive. These are inexpensive from what I can tell, and these are really, really seem to be quality parts. Again, time will tell, but so far so good. I've got at this point somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 rounds through this, and we're gonna keep testing it. So I guess if you're still watching at this point, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. Really just comment, subscribe and comment. But thanks for watching. I'll continue to keep doing these. If you like them, obviously, continue to support it. I will put a couple of links in probably the first comment. I'll pin that comment just to appease the YouTube gods so they don't shut me out before I ever get started. But again, I guess don't try any of this at home. I'm not a professional. Rest in peace, Mr. Paul Harrell. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.